Did I scare you? Then hit like and subscribe. Now let's begin.
They don't all appear at once. Some only show up for a moment. Try to count them if you don't blink. I came to this village after sunset, not because I was looking for trouble, but because empty places make it easier to think. The path beneath my feet was familiar. Stone, dirt, grass. The kind of path you stop noticing after a while. Houses stood quietly on both sides. No lights in the windows. No movement. Perfect. I like places that don't ask questions. As I walked, I kept my eyes forward, but part of me was already distracted. Not by the village, by the idea that I might be watched. A few days ago, I started noticing something strange while recording. Small things at first, shapes where there shouldn't be any, movement at the edge of the frame. I blamed compression, rendering errors, anything reasonable. That's what you do when you don't want to think too hard. I passed the first crossroads, 2 identical streets. I chose one at random. It didn't matter. They always lead back eventually. I told myself this recording would be simple, just a walk, just a story. No jump scares, no sudden turns, just atmosphere. But atmosphere has a way of turning into tension when you stay in it long enough. I remembered the first time I noticed it clearly. I was editing late at night, half asleep, letting the footage play in the background. And then I saw it. Something standing between 2 houses. Not moving, not approaching, just there. I stopped the video, scrolled back. Nothing. I laughed it off. That was my second mistake. The village path narrowed slightly, fences on both sides. My footsteps echoed softly. I wondered how many people notice things but decide not to say anything. As I walked, I forced myself to focus on the details. Torches, shadows, the way light bends around corners. If you stare long enough, your brain starts filling gaps, or so they say. I reached the well in the center of the village. Still water, dark surface. I didn't look into it for long. Some reflections stay with you. The second time I noticed it, I wasn't editing. I was just watching, and this time it was closer. I kept walking. That's the trick, isn't it? If you keep moving, you don't have to face anything directly. A house on the left had its doors slightly open, just enough to notice. I didn't stop. Open doors mean choices. I wasn't ready for those. I started to wonder something. Not what I was seeing, but why I was seeing it. The village remained silent. No animals, no villagers, only the sound of my steps, and occasionally something else. Not a sound, a feeling. Have you noticed anything yet? Don't answer, just keep counting. The third time was different. It moved, not fast, not slow, just enough to be wrong. I remember freezing in my chair, hand hovering over the mouse. My brain was already preparing excuses. Shadow, lighting glitch, anything but the truth. I turned down another street, this one longer, straighter. I could see almost the entire length of it. Nothing stood there. That should have been comforting. It wasn't. I realized something unsettling. I was no longer surprised when it appeared, only when it didn't. The human mind adapts quickly, too quickly. I passed by a farm, crops gently swaying, life continuing, unaware. I envied that. I started paying attention to where it appeared. Corners, edges, places you don't focus on, places you trust your brain to ignore. The fourth time, I didn't rewind, I didn't pause. I let the video keep playing. And that's when I understood something important. It wasn't appearing randomly,
It was appearing when I wasn't looking directly. My pace slowed. The village felt smaller now, more enclosed, like the houses had leaned in slightly. I asked myself the obvious question: why show itself at all? The answer came to me later, much later, but the idea started here. I reached another intersection, stopped for a moment, listened. Nothing. Still, my skin felt tight. The fifth time was barely visible.
Just a shape, between two frames. If you blinked, you missed it. That's when I decided to test it, to test you. If I was seeing these things, maybe others were too, or maybe the act of watching was enough. I continued walking, deliberately slow now, giving space, giving time. The village didn't resist. It never does. I remembered something I once read, that the brain doesn't like unfinished patterns. It wants closure, so it invents it. But what if the pattern isn't invented? What if it's revealed? I passed the bell tower, didn't touch it. Some signals are invitations. I felt it again, that sense of being observed, not hunted, not chased, observed. The sixth appearance was the clearest so far, still brief, still distant, but undeniable. I exhaled slowly. This wasn't fear anymore. It was confirmation. I turned back toward the center of the village. Same houses, same paths, but now everything felt intentional.
I wondered how many you had counted so far. Be honest with yourself. The seventh time, I didn't see it. I felt it. A pressure behind the eyes, a pause in thought, like something had stepped closer, not in space, in awareness. That's when it finally made sense. They weren't hiding from me. They were hiding because of me. Because watching creates contrast, and contrast reveals shapes. I kept walking. What else could I do? Stopping wouldn't help. The village lights flickered gently, or maybe they didn't. I couldn't be sure anymore. The eighth appearance was behind me. I know, because I didn't need to see it. My steps didn't change. Fear doesn't always make you run. Sometimes it just makes you quiet. I reached the edge of the village, darkness beyond, the place where the video usually ends. I stopped, not because I wanted to, but because I needed to ask you something. How many did you see? Be careful. The number matters less than when you notice them, because the last one is never in the video. It's in the moment you realize you're still watching. And now that you've noticed, it doesn't need to hide anymore.
Did you see them all? Not all of them appear clearly. Tell me how many you noticed.